Accent of Choice by Literally Mad Lad on EU3. Episode 8, Chapter 3 WWE Wrestling Match with a Merman. Deku backpedaled towards the dock as the assistant said, "What is it? I missed it." Deku started as Katsuki pushed towards him, his fingers catching on the swim trunks. "He's trying to take my pants off." "Hell no, we're not doing that," the assistant said, and when Deku grabbed for the dock, the assistant caught him by the arm, bracing her feet and helping him hoist back up, while Deku kept one hand on his shrimp trucks against the aggressive pull Katsuki gave them. Irritated, Katsuki gritted his teeth, a dull drill of ticks emerging from the back of his throat. When the assistant scolded him, he all but hissed at her before diving back in the direction of where he snagged Deku's shoe and shirt. He took them with him back to his cave. Katsuki didn't understand the issue. He never wore pants. Granted, he would never fit in them. He despised it when Deku wore those full-body wetsuits and covered up his face with masks and shit. It was embarrassing to say the least. He felt embarrassed for Deku, and that just pushed him to the brink of an explosive rage. Why did he have to care so much? So what if Deku didn't want to take his pants off in front of Katsuki? It wasn't like the bastard had stuck his dick all over Katsuki's territory anyways. What difference does it make if he ditched the trunks? Katsuki didn't return until the next day, so he couldn't be certain for how long Deku and the assistant stuck around, since he hadn't regulated his diet. He had to swim to trot off fish. Katsuki didn't return until the next day, so he couldn't be certain by how long Deku and the assistant stuck around. Since he had regulated his diet, he stuck to trimming off the fish population near his den, which kept them from bothering him. There were more minions around, and Deku had started to select new species Katsuki wasn't familiar with. All he had eaten in his life had been various of tuna, and he didn't know what to make of the others. Apparently they flourished in this environment. When Katsuki arrived, it was to the assistant declaring that it was treatment day. He distaste for treatment day nearly pinched him back to his den. But then the assistant had been clear early on about how they treated the water. The first time they did so, Katsuki had almost bitten her leg off for suggesting a full sweep of his territory. "Deku's wheeling in the salt," she told him as she clapped a test tube of water and gave it a gentle swirl. "He wanted me to ask if you could do the sweeping while we talked about the past a couple times. It's better if the deposits are more spaced out. Then we don't have to leave the water on for so long." The salt concentrate irritated Katsuki's skin after every treatment. The part of him that was most similar to Deku's physique took several days to acclimate, especially if he spent more time around the entirety pool where the salt was dumped. Katsuki was confined to that initial area where the river fall remained plugged on the other side of the dam. It was cramped compared to his territory, and his increased diet and exercise had encouraged growth. Pace, cautious fins, and grown out significantly, and after gathering his things from his den, Deku and the assistant were cautious not to shut the door on it. Deku suited up in that disgusting wetsuit that took waterproof bags of salt petals, and from the accomplice. Katsuki narrowed his eyes at them for over the wooden planks. It would have been easy for him to jump the dam. Katsuki glanced at him as he prepared to snap the pair of goggles. He hung them off his elbows so he could sign. "Do you mind if I go near your home?" Whatever expression he wore, the accomplice pretended like she knew what it meant. "I think that means he might." She tugged an empty glass vial into a strap on Deku's wristband. If Katsuki had nails, they would have left marks in the wood. She was taking about boring things like plants, growth, and pH levels. Deku looked like he was paying attention. Judging from the fact that he wasn't looking at Katsuki, he was beginning to regret having agreed with this. He should have figured Deku would wear the wetsuit. He should have mentioned that during negotiation. The accomplice and Deku spent the better part of the night with Katsuki now that Deku had free reign of his cave. Katsuki made it known that he disliked Deku going unaccompanied, at which Deku said, if he really doesn't like it, he would have jumped by the bridge by now. Katsuki put his middle finger up high enough for the accomplice to see from up above. She was at the sked light overview with a tube that rewound the water flow into the pool. When they were done, and Deku's wetsuit was rolled off his body, the two of them packed up the shop and left. Deku stopped on the wooden walkway to reach down to Katsuki, who was simmering on the surface with a glare. Katsuki resisted the urge to grab Deku's arm and bite his stupid hand off, and he did so by crossing his arms and digging his non-existent nails into his biceps. Deku's hand found Katsuki's hair. Katsuki shrunk back a little, eyes resting firmly on Deku's soft, annoying smile. When Deku's thumb grazed over Katsuki's temple, Katsuki's eyes darted to the side. "Midoriya," the accomplice called. "Coming," Deku said, and leaped to his feet a second later. He jogged to the stairs, and as they hurried up the steps, Deku commented, "His hair is such an interesting texture." "What, were you petting him or something?" She laughed, and Deku insisted that he hadn't. She remained unconvinced, even as she shut the door and locked it into place. Once alone again, in the cave, Katsuki listened to the man-made waterfall from the skylight trickle in. Slowly, he sunk into the depths and took a temporary sleeping spot as the sun shifted into the sky. Oh wow, okay, no comment. No comment. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds, have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.